Hello everyone, I'm David Jakes. I'm the VP of Engineering at McLean Engineering here in Canada. So I'll take you through a few slides to give you a little background on this new guideline, and then we'll get ourselves into some breakout rooms to get our sleeves rolled up and put a bit of content together. So just starting off a little bit about why we feel this guideline is important to start developing. At the high level, companies still need some practical and globally relevant guidance now, even on how to plan accordingly to develop their mines for an increasing level of electrification. There's a large industry transition occurring with all the pressures to meet GHG emissions, meet decarbonization goals, to get after the critical minerals that the world requires. There's a technology push with many commercially ready BEVs ready now and evolving, whether it's light duty, ultra class trucks, or anything in the middle of those two extremes. And a readiness guideline is an important document to help people understand, the awareness of those types of vehicles, the pace at which they are being developed, and the level of adoption that's occurring. There's still an investment barrier that is prevalent within this particular aspect of mining. Fleet electrification does require significant capital expense. There are known total cost of ownership benefits, and that can still sometimes be overlooked. And there could lead to some uncertainty in terms of making decisions to move towards battery electric solutions. And then there's the operational pressures of continuously looking for ways to improve safety, maintain good workforce skills, infrastructure, power readiness. All of these are factors and challenges within electrification that we hope this guideline would assist with. So a little bit about what we're doing now. The goal, first of all, is to provide what will be a clear and practical guideline for the successful adoption of surface fleet electrification, which will help reduce or mitigate and manage costs as well as safety risks. The scope of this is battery electric vehicles, as well as charging systems for surface mining. It does include aspects of equipment and workforce, emphasis on safety, operational readiness, and implementation and industry alignment. And then on the governance side, through GMG's efforts, we're attempting to collaborate here with many people from industry. This has been initiated by a steering committee through the Electric Mine Working Group, and that group will continue to take back the content that's developed in sessions like these to continue to refine and set new direction for the guideline. So a few key areas here that you'll start to see within the document that we'll be working in. Overall, we're trying to define recommended practices for BEV implementation in surface mining, and then we're breaking that down into some other sub areas. So we do want to provide technical information, but not necessarily prescriptive framework for adoption. There is a lot of choices and options. We want to try to give people perspective on what's out there. I think creating some checklists and other useful tools to help people identify and resolve areas of uncertainty would be helpful within this document. We do want to make sure we are acknowledging and addressing things like high voltage risks, arc flash, and things of that nature. Any other concerns that can be related with BEV systems. There are environmental factors, operational, conditions that need to be brought into the guideline. So you'll see areas where that could be written up. Charging infrastructure, energy demand requirements is no doubt a popular topic that I think many people here will want to contribute towards. We're also looking to bridge technology gaps with evidence and case studies of trials and any other readiness guidance that can assist. And then any relevant standards and other references that would provide some authority and some good content towards what we're trying to do here is welcome as well. Just another slide, a little bit more on scope as far as what is in and out. This is still, I think, probably a live discussion, and there could be a little bit of a gray area between these two boxes. On the right side is what we consider at this point to be in scope. It's certainly all the equipment on site, all the charging infrastructure to handle the charging of the batteries for the vehicles, and then substations, power generation, the as we're calling it, the e-house on the mine site is in scope. We're trying to leave out of scope external power grid considerations, outside renewable energy solutions and things of that nature. Business case details, when you get into very detailed modeling of business case, we're not considering that in scope, but there is a section about business case in a more high level within the document. And then there will be some tendency towards talking about autonomous mining and automation, since they tend to go with battery electrification, but we're already running guidelines and other activities around autonomous mining, so we won't get too heavy into that area either. So we've broken out the document that you're about to get some access to in your breakout rooms into some major chapters that we want some help to get some ideas going. The first is just general background, where we'll try to get some information about the current state of BEV adoption in surface mining, and that's the equipment, the mines themselves, charging, really just a current state of affairs for that. Business case will be a section I think that many will like to contribute towards. That can be everything from ESG targets, return on investment and other financial elements, total cost of ownership models, health and safety, environmental, community factors, safety and training will make a strong case within there as well. We have a section for mine design and operations, so that will be everything from the layout and infrastructure, maintenance considerations, duty cycle, risk management will fit in there. We have a large section we expect to see content on for charging systems and different methods, so types of charging, grid integration, load management, and then performance standards, availability and utilization of the equipment, idle and queue periods for charging, elements such as regenerative braking, battery performance will also find their way into that section. And then recurring topics that you can expect to see, and feel free to add content in all of the chapters, are safety and then workforce and training elements as well. So we've gotten to the point in sort of phase one, which was to get a general structure of the guideline, which we outlined with those chapters. And now we're heading into the next section 2 here, which is starting to get some content into the document. Once that's been developed, we'll get a collection of all of that back to the steering committee, and then collate that together and set it up for another round of review and feedback. So you can see this color-coded definition we've put in. When you go to your section of the document for the room that you're in, you will likely see a mixture of green, yellow, red, and maybe even some gray color codes on the headers and the subsections. We have tried to identify green as the topics that we think are probably the first priority things that need content created for them for the first round of the edition of the document. And we're trying to get that wrapped up by about late April, because there's opportunities at conferences coming up in May to be able to socialize that. Yellow is still fair game. If you see a section with yellow and you know there's something there that you want to put a comment down towards, you're welcome to do that. Red is just probably going to be a bit later in the year. And then gray is a little bit of we'll wait and see, depending on how much content comes out of the other sections. The other recommendation, and you can see in the example below with my name there, once you've put your name down, if you just highlight your name and then right click and go to the add comment, you can start a comment box against your name, and then you're free to write down all the loose ideas that sort of pop in your head about the topics you see in your chapter. And that way everybody can be writing comments off in the margins, independent of each other, and you don't have to worry about trying to sort of fight for space on the main document.
I do encourage everybody to jump into that team site. If you do have trouble getting in, please let us know. And the document is in that location. If there is any reference material, please, I do encourage you to upload if you can, share that into the file storage area, and we can use that the chat function to have asynchronous conversations. We are interested in cadence, so please, any feedback on how often you would like us to come together, or help you come together. But the other thing is that as the chapters come together, what we've found in the past is that usually the individual chapters kind of work through a cadence that meets their needs and requirements. So I do encourage you to take ownership of that. Don't rely on us to sort of do that, but we will be pushing for a cadence. So with that, I want to say thank you, Dave.